Alright guys, let's get straight into it. Skip to the end if you want to get the sound comparisons. First of all, we want to remove the seat. And this is what the pin looks like holding it in. Next, you want to remove this middle bodywork section. Some of the bolts can be a bit snappy, but don't worry about that. Also, some of them have plastic washers, and remember which is which. This little plastic rivet, you just want to poke it in the center with something small, like a small screwdriver. It should make a popping noise, and then the whole thing just pulls straight out. On the back of the bodywork panel is a little plastic pin that goes into a rubber housing on the bike. You want to gently pull the panel off. It's worth pointing out that this actually clips into the front fairing, so just be careful and gentle as you pull it out. And here is the little clip or tab that I'm talking about. Now you want to remove the front lower fairing. There's just 4 5mm bolts here, one in each corner. Next up is the front fairing. There should be 3 bolts remaining on the side and 1 on the top, just in front of the gas tank. On the underside of the fairing, just above the radiator, is another one of those little plastic rivets, so you're going to want to pop that out. Next, we're going to remove the stock exhaust heat shield, which needs a little bit of force and wiggling to get it off. Now use a 12mm socket to loosen the 2 bolts holding the exhaust on, as well as the clamp between the muffler and the header. Remove the bolts and just wiggle the exhaust a little bit, give it a pull and it should come loose. Remove the lambda sensor with a 17mm wrench. Just be careful with the shielded cable. Now you want to remove the 2 header bolts, which should be 12mm. Gently take the header off and be careful not to scratch anything as you remove it. Here you can see that the total stock exhaust system, including the heat shield, is 5.2 kilograms. Now the exciting part, the new exhaust. So first, put the header on and hand tighten it. Make sure everything is aligned for a good seal. If you're only using the slip-on, you're going to need to insert this graphite gasket so that everything connects up. If you're doing the full exhaust, you do not need this gasket. You want to slide on this exhaust clamp onto the either side. I think it's probably easier to do it onto the header side first. On the muffler side, you've got this little clip which needs to be secured to the bracket, which is going to allow us to mount it properly. Now the fun part. Enjoy the absolute chaos of trying to align everything and get it to mount properly. It might be easier to do this with two people or just be more coordinated than me. Hand tighten the muffler bolts to hold it into position. Okay, just ignore the birds. Now you want to tighten the clamp. Akra uses Torqx bolts here. This bracket is 14 Newton meters or 10 foot-pounds. You need to go ahead and reinstall the lambda sensor. If you don't want to remove it, a good little trick is to twist up the cable as if you're unscrewing the sensor, and then as you install it, this twist will cancel out, but an alternative is just to remove it completely. And to torque this up, it's 17 mils, and you need 34 Newton meters or 25 foot-pounds. Go ahead and tighten up the header bolts to 22 Newton meters or 16 foot-pounds. And then you want to tighten up the muffler mounting bolts. This one uses Torqx 45 and is 22 Newton meters or 16 foot-pounds. Next, put the large fairing back on, remembering to align the tabs at the bottom. Also remember to reinsert that little plastic rivet underneath. Start doing all the bodywork back up using your 5mm hex. And remember which one has the plastic washer. Now put the lower fairing back on. It has alignment tabs along the bottom as well, and when you're putting these bolts in, you may need to put a little bit of force just so you can get them to start threading. Now we go back to that middle fairing. Remember to align that tab on the front and push that plastic rear pin into the rubber on the frame. Do up these two bolts and don't forget the little plastic rivet on the inside. Put the seat back on, aligning to that pin on the front. Secure it with the long bolts and the spacers. Awesome job, enjoy your beautiful new exhaust, and let's head to some sound test clips.